Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube video where we discuss Azure Security Center prevention and detection and also defense capabilities. So let's look at first prevention. So in the previous video I described to you about the Security Center overview and how you enable it, and then how you get the visibility of the security vulnerabilities in your environment. Let's look at some of the recommendations that it has given me, and some vulnerabilities that it has pointed in my environment in here. So in terms of prevention, it categorizes the prevention recommendations into four categories. So it provides you compute recommendations and networking recommendations, also storage and application recommendations. So first, let's have a look at the compute recommendations. So in terms of compute recommendations, I have to tell you that recently Security Center became hybrid model. So because with the changes that it did on the back end, where it uses OMS workspaces for data feeding, now that is capable of monitoring Azure VMs as well as any VM that's hosted outside as well. So if the VM is hosted on your on-premises environment, that can look at that, and also if it's hosted in any other third-party cloud providers like AWS or Google, then you can monitor those VMs as well. So here in my environment, if I look at VMs and computers, it provides me the blue-colored VMs. It shows me those VMs that are running in my Azure environment. And the purple color VMs, they are the servers that are running in my on-premises environment, and they are all monitored, and Azure Security Center gives me like an overview or summary information about the vulnerabilities. So let's look at some overview of or summary of the compute recommendations. So it has highlighted to me that 7 out of my 13 VMs in the environment, it has highlighted to me that it doesn't have an endpoint protection installed, and it shows to me out of it shows to me there are 3 out of 4 that's installed Windows Defender, and one of them is the Azure anti-malware software that's installed, but a lot of other VMs that doesn't have that any endpoint protection installed. So I can click on them, and then it will show me that the VMs that are not in the Azure environment that doesn't have any endpoint protection installed, and then it allows me to install straight away either the Microsoft anti-malware solution, which is a free anti-malware solution in Azure. You can install that, or you can install like third-party providers like the Trend Micro. It also points me that the non-Azure VMs, which are on-prem or any other third-party provider VMs, they also don't have. So out of the 5 I have in my environment, 4 of them doesn't have any endpoint protection installed, which is a critical vulnerability, and then it shows you that as well. Also, OS patching is really important. So WannaCry is one of the best lessons that we learned. So that was one of the ransomware that we identified in the environment. So if we don't have any VMs that are properly patched, we can be attacked by ransomwares like WannaCry or some malware solution that's spreading out in the internet. So it's important to patch our VMs and keep the system updates and security updates up to date. Here I have some recommendations given to me that there are a lot of missing security updates in the environment. So this update is missing in 3 of the VMs that I have, and some security updates are missing in 3 of the VMs that I have, and etc. So this gives you a summary of the missing security updates in your environment, and then it will give you the details of what server it is missing and etc. So that's important, and also it gives you a highlight of some of the VMs, or 7 out of my 8 VMs doesn't have disk encryption enabled. So it's important to enable the disk encryption, because if somebody gets hands on to my virtual disks, then they can take the data, or they can mount the VHD and then take the data out of my virtual machine. Because it's hosted in a public cloud, Microsoft wants us to enable this encryption on the VM and then help them to contribute with us support in terms of securing the data within the security center, within the Azure subscription. Also, it has identified that the added vulnerability assessment solution is not there in 4 of the VMs, and also it highlights to me that missing scan data and OS remediation is recommended by Microsoft. So like that, it gives me a summary of from the compute side of things. It gives me a summary. So let's get back to the home page, or the single dashboard, and then let's go to the networking side of things. So under the networking, it monitors all my virtual networks, my subnets, and etc., and all my external facing servers as well. So it provides me a summary list of what sort of servers I have internet facing in my environment, and then it tells you it is important to protect those ones. So it tells me that this doesn't have any restriction on the front facing IP address, and it also shows me that because this is exposed to the internet, it needs to go through a next generation firewall, and that is tagged as a high severity, and you can create a next generation firewall and then put it through the next generation firewall. So it recommends like a Barracuda or Checkpoint, so whatever the virtual appliances available in Azure for that purpose. Also, it looks at the virtual networks, and it looks and says that I don't have a network security group enabled on this subnet, and it recommends me to enable a network security group and apply that on that subnet. Also, same thing. So, like highlighted in here, this is a external facing server, and I don't have any even network security group enabled. So it recommends me having a network security group in there. So here I have a network security group applied, but I have any IP address enabled into that. So it recommends me to say, rather than allowing all the source addresses, it recommends me to say recommend that editing inbound to a specific set of source addresses. Yeah, so let's get back to so all the rest of the virtual networks are secure and safe. So these are the ones that are in here. So in a summary, it says network next generation firewalls and NSGs, and restrict access to the public endpoints. Let's go to the storage section. So in storage section, it looks at the storage accounts and also any SQL databases, Azure SQL databases. So it looks at the Azure SQL databases in here, and it tells me that I should enable auditing and threat detection within the SQL database, and also a TDE encryption on the database as well. And I have enabled them, and it is giving me green for that. And if I don't have encryption enabled or threat detection enabled, then it will highlight me and ask me to do that. So in here, in the below summary, it highlights me that all the storage accounts that doesn't have storage encryption enabled, and by default now this stays like now Microsoft enables the encryption by default when you create a storage account, but before it didn't do that, and those are the 6 storage accounts that doesn't have encryption enabled. Okay, let's go to the applications section. So in this section, it looks at all my web applications, and it will tell me that I should have a web application firewall in front of those applications, and because they're all public facing, that needs to go through a web application firewall basically. So yeah. So yeah, that's basically the prevention section of Azure Security Center, and yeah, I'll start a new video in order to discuss around the defense capabilities of Azure, and also probably the detection side of things as well. So thanks for watching this video, and if you have any feedback, please feel free to write a comment, and then I can improve on the next videos. Thank you very much.